So today I want to show you how to take advantage of the QuarkLogix software on this device and also on other devices, and maybe it'll give you some clues into some things that you can do and some tips on how you can use it if you have this device or if you're looking to get it and kind of show the capabilities. So when you're in the paper on this device, if you hit this little three dot, you get the menu here that allows you to create new workbooks, manage your workbooks, delete them, etc. And from here, you can create your new notebook. Here I've already done one. It's called Test Workbook. Right now, they only support this QLW file format, so you can't have PDF files native or ebook files native or any other file types natively read on the device or stored on the device and then read. You have to actually put anything that you want, say, on this device. If you want a PDF, you have to import it in, which is what they support, or if you some kind of image like a PNG, you can import that into this particular workbook as well. But it does store it in this QLW format, file format. Now, once you're in, you have your workbook and you have a page by default, it shows up blank. If you tap and hold, you get this little menu circle, and in this circle, you have options for copying and pasting. You can add in objects here. If I pick the square, you can see now there's a square object here on the page, and you can change the thickness of your pen. You can change the color of the pen. You can change the background that's on this particular page. So if we select the line, it'll tell you it's going to change it, and it changes the background. Just understand that if you haven't seen the previous review and feedback video that I did, that this is to change the background. It doesn't allow you to import an image that you can use similar to an object. So here, this is an object. I can select it. I can move it around, right? I can expand it. I can also rotate the object around as well. Now, you can't do this with images. The images, when you bring the images in, it becomes the background. Other things you can do here in this menu is you can add a page, you can delete a page, you can undo and redo, and you can also clear the entire page here on this menu. Now, what I want to show here is that this the QuarkLogix software, as I said, is one of its biggest pros is that it's collaborative in nature, and it syncs very well to the cloud and also to other devices when you share the note or you're accessing this particular workbook on your own other devices. So I'm going to show some of that right now. Okay, so here we are on the iPad. This is the same workbook that was on the paper device, and actually I'll bring these up side by side so you can see these side by side, and hopefully that comes in pretty well. So right here we can see that the mobile device, the software on the mobile device, allows you to do some similar things that you have on the QuarkLogix device, but not all. So I want to get into some of those limitations, what you can do on your other devices versus the QuarkLogix device, so you can see some of the collaborative nature, what you can and can't do when you're moving from one device to another, and also how the syncing and continuity basically of the applications when you're on a different device versus the QuarkLogix. Now, understand you don't need the QuarkLogix to have the QuarkLogix app or even access onto their web portal. You can go to their web portal, you can sign up. They have a couple different versions of the account that you can get. Right now, the accounts are free, but I've talked to them, and they are going to eventually have a paid version of the accounts and what you can and cannot do, limitations on how many workbooks, so on and so forth. I don't have any details on that, but look for that to come later. But for now, you can have a free account. If you want to share a workbook and with your friends, they can go in there, they can set up an account. There's no cost, and then you can still get some of that, again, sharing capabilities and collaborate with people who do not have an actual paper device. So let's take a look at what you can do on the mobile app. And the continuity on the mobile app between the iPad and the Android are pretty much the same. There are little quirks on the Android I've noticed just when you're opening up the workbook, but other than that, the functionality you get out of the application is the same. So on the app, you're allowed to create the actual workbook. You can also create folders as well. You can go into your library. Let me just go ahead and show that. You can see your cloud library, everything that syncs from whether you create it on your iPad, on your Android device, or on the paper. They will all show up here if you have them syncing to the cloud. You also have local workbooks as well. I don't use this as much because I want to make sure I can access my workbooks and my notes across devices. And then you get to see what's shared with you within this account. And here we can see I have one document that's shared with me. If I go into the cloud library, I already have this one selected, but it goes ahead, it opens that up for you. And as I said, you can also create new ones if you don't have one already. So you can start your day on the iPad, create the new folder, create the new workbook. We'll go in here. Let's do test 2. Because what I want to do here is show you some of the limitations here. So you can create the folder, you can create the actual workbook, and once you create the notebook, it shows up in your list. You can open it up. Okay, so once you open it, you can edit with the stylus. So if we enable this stylus icon, I can go in here and I can write. I can also change the pen width so that it's thinner. I can also change the color of that as well. Now, if we go over here onto the paper device, let's go ahead and open up that particular workbook, and we can see everything that I've did on the iPad, that it shows up here on the paper device. Now, some of the other options that you get on the mobile app as well is that you can delete a page. You can also add an additional page as well. You can see that here. So iPad page 2, right? Okay. You can, from here, deselect the stylus and you can erase. So you can go ahead and swipe through. You can erase things. As I said, we can delete pages from here as well. And that's pretty much the gist of it. What's not on the mobile device that you can do on the paper is that you cannot, at this point from the software, you cannot change the template or the background. And when I say you cannot change it, you can change it, but you don't have preset backgrounds like you do on the paper. And what I'm referring to here is when you go into the backgrounds, you have either a blank, a lined, or grid preset here that you can select. You don't have that here. But what you can do on the mobile device is that you do get this share option here by hitting the 3 buttons. You can insert content. You can also export as PDF. But inserting the content here is what we want to do to change this background. And if you have any preset templates with backgrounds on them in PDF or PNG format, you can add that here and then you can use that. And I'll show an example of that here. If I scroll through one of these, and I have this one here. Go ahead and select that. Then I'll import it, and we can see it created a page 2, and it imported this template. So now what I can do here is, if I want to have certain templates, the only thing on the mobile device is that I have to import that template in. So, and of course you have to either create it initially for you to even be able to import it. Where on the paper, you do have a couple presets that are already here for you. Now, if you want this lined say a aligned background that you can get on the paper. What you could do is create it on the paper, change the background, and then it will show up here on this device. So if we swipe through, we can get to page 2 here. We can see this template, same thing here. And if I add a page, hold down here, change that to a line template. When I go to page 3 here, you can see the lines, and you see how quick the sync process was there. It's pretty much almost real time, right? To most people, this is real time. There is some latency there, but it's very quick and seamless. One other thing that you don't get on the mobile app that you can get on the paper here is also, let's go ahead and edit, create something here. Now, on the paper, if I click and hold down the menu, you have this clear page option here. On the mobile app, the only thing you can do is you can use the eraser. You do not get a clear page option. You can delete the page, but then you have to recreate the page all over again. So if all you want to do is wipe the slate clean on this particular page, you'd have to do that either from the paper device, or you select the eraser and you go through and erase everything. The other thing that's missing on the mobile device from a continuity standpoint is that you cannot add objects like you can on the paper. So on the paper, I did show that in the menu here, we can select these objects, and then I can select an object and put an object down. So we see the circle now is here. Now, if I go through here, I can also right now not manipulate the object here. So where on the paper, I can select it and I can move it. That cannot be done on, you can see it basically pans the entire page. Cannot select that. Now, one of the benefits of having this sync, if it's not apparent and noticeable here, is that the notes are editable on all the different devices that this syncs to and that you can get to the app on. So you saw me writing primarily on the iPad on this note, and right now I haven't seen any other device, e-ink device maker, have their notes editable on other devices, and then also be able to sync that back to the primary e-ink device. You can sync one way, but not both. Okay, so now I've moved to the web portal for QuarkLogix here, so that we can see the kind of the continuity in the web portal versus the mobile app. We'll see here on the left side here, I have the mobile app on Android now instead of on the iPad, so that we can see what that looks like as well. Let's start with the mobile app, just so we can run through this again, and we can see how on the Android device you get the same functionality that you do on the iPad. You can still go in here and you can hit the stylus icon, and then I can use my stylus to write. We can go through, we can erase. Go ahead and erase there. You can see that capability is still working. You can also go in and you can change the color. We can change the line thickness. We can undo and redo. You can also delete pages and add pages here. Another thing you can do on the mobile device as well, on the Android, is they also let you insert content here as well. Now, the one thing that's missing on the Android is you don't get the share icon like on the iPad or iOS. It only has the insert content and export here. So one difference again on the Android is that you do not get the share icon here. Now if we move over to the web portal, we can see you get some of the same type of structure where you have you can see your library, you can see what's yours and what's shared with me, similar to what you can do in the mobile app. You can also create folders and you can create new workbooks as well. I have let me sync here. Let me refresh this because it's not showing the test 2. Go into my library, and okay, we can see the test 2 here. If we open that up, it opens up another tab where you can start to work with this particular workbook. Now you can see here some of the icons look similar to what we had on the mobile device. So you can see the stylus here and the stylus also on the mobile device here. We have the eraser along the side here. We have this pan icon, which we don't get on the mobile device, and that's mainly because you can just, it's on a touch screen, so you can just touch it and move things around. You get the zoom in, zoom out, and also the zoom reset. Now these are some things that you can again do with touch, where you can zoom in and zoom out on the other devices. You can also scroll through pages as well, so we can go through the different pages that we have here. Now, one thing you can see that you cannot do here is you cannot insert an image. You don't get an option to add an image to here, or an object. Similar to the mobile device, you cannot do either of those. You cannot change the pen thickness or the colors as well. So those are things that are not consistent with the mobile app over here. Another thing here, on the web portal, you cannot add a page to your workbook. So you can scroll through the pages that are already there, but there's no option to actually add a page from the web. And on the web, you cannot undo and redo. If you want to remove something that you did previously, you're going to have to erase it. Now, if you need someone to create an account, or you need to create an account yourself, to this QuarkLogix portal, basically go to portal.QuarkLogix.com. You'll hit sign up, and then in the sign up, you'll need to put in some information here. We'll go ahead and click sign up after we filled in all the information. And you will see sign up was successful. So I'll go ahead and check my email right now. And in the email, it tells you that you're going to have to go ahead and confirm this. So I'll go ahead and confirm the email. It says thank you for confirming. You go ahead and get out of there. And then I'll go ahead and sign in with my new account. All right, so now that I have a new account here, I want to show the sharing of a workbook between two different people. Okay, now when it comes to sharing, you cannot share directly from the workbook itself. So if you're in the workbook, you don't get an option to actually share. But what you need to do is come out to the library, select the workbook, and up at the top you get the share icon here. So if you click on that there, you'll see it prompts you for a place where you can see all the collaborators, and then you can enter a collaborator's email in here so that you can give someone else access. So if I add collaborator, you see it adds the collaborator. And then once the collaborator is added, then you can either give that collaborator just read, edit permissions to the actual workbook itself. So for this person, I just want to have read access to that. I'll go ahead and close. We'll switch over to this user. And if we go ahead and refresh the screen here, let's go into the library, and then you go into shared with me, and you can see now that this particular user has access to that workbook that I created on my other primary account. Now you can use this here if you're doing some kind of session that you want to just share and collaborate with people, and just show them what's out there, and they can see your changes as well. So and if I go in here and I start to add to the workbook or to the page itself, you can see it's updating for the user who this is shared to, and also everyone who has access to this particular workbook and the page to it. Everything's updated in real time. You can also see here that the icons for the editing are gone now, so they cannot add anything to the particular page or to the workbook, or they cannot erase anything either. But if I go in and I change it so that they can edit, then they'll get those icons here at the top for the stylus and for the eraser. So what do you think about the product, the software, the syncing, the collaboration of the solution? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Again, my name is Anton. If you like the content and the information, if this was helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel, and have a nice day.